Welcome to the next session of the Benzinga Pro education course. In this section, I'm going to show you how you can use movers to actually trade. In fact, I'm going to show you how I use this exact tool every single day to set up my trades. So the settings that I use are going to be gainers, pre-market, and session, and I'm not going to apply any sector filter, market cap filter, or price filter. The goal here, and I'm doing this in the pre-market, the goal here is I want to find out all of the stocks that are going to gap, because a lot of times stocks that gap right around the open either continue to move or provide trading setups later in the day. I want to prepare myself as best I can to take advantage of that should a trading opportunity materialize. So here we go. Right now, full disclosure, it is in the middle of the day of the regular session here. Let's just pretend for the sake of the example that we are back in the pre-market. I'm going to go ahead and scoot my chart over so that we don't have the price information for the regular session, because when it comes down to practice, you're not going to have this. So let's practice how it's going to look when you're actually in the moment. Now, first stock in the list here is going to be AUVI. So I can see that this stock was up 47.45% here in the pre-market. The question is going to be, well, I'm glad that it's up. That's cool. If you don't own it, how do you trade it? Now, what I've noticed here, and this is just from me recognizing patterns as well as talking to more experienced traders on how they attack the market, I've noticed that the stocks that trade up in the pre-market, especially those that trade up on high volume, often provide opportunity later on in the day. So the way I take advantage of this is I actually use the drawing tools, which are found on the left-hand menu of the chart tab of details, and I keep this as simple as possible. I'm interested in the different levels which this stock changed its price sentiment. So let me show you what I mean. I'm going to select the horizontal line tool from the drawing menu here, and I'm going to mark off tops, and I'm going to mark off bottoms. And you might be thinking, well, what are you doing this for? And what this is our intraday. Remember, I have a 1-minute chart selected here. I should rewind a little bit and say the goal of what I'm trying to do here are find opportunities to day trade. I'm not necessarily using this tool right now to set up a long-term investment or to set up a swing trade. And it's not necessarily a right or wrong answer. It's just, how are you using this? For me, investing in a long-term position would require some type of catalyst or some type of edge or some type of due diligence. I need to know what that company does, how that company plans to make money, how that company grows, what the balance sheet looks like, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But for day trades, for shorter-term trades, perhaps I can just capture price movement or momentum, and that's exactly what we're trying to do here. So let me continue marking off some of these areas. I view these areas as what I call key levels. These are levels where the price either stopped going up and started to go down, or vice versa. It stopped going down and started to go up. You can look at these as support or resistance levels. Now, the next step here for me, now that I've got these lines set up here, now I can move to the next stock. All right, and I can do the exact same thing here. I can mark these off. Now, one of the things that I'm doing here for my specific trading strategy is I'm only going to click on the tickers that have high volume. So volume in the millions. Remember, the market hasn't opened yet. This is just the pre-market. So even 1 million shares traded in the pre-market might be an indication that that stock is going to get some attention today. I'm not necessarily going to mess around with stocks that have only traded 77,000 shares or 39,000 shares or whatever the case is. To me, that's not going to allow me to execute my strategy. I need to make sure that there is liquidity for this particular strategy, so I don't want to waste time trading things that are on low volume. I might not be able to get in and out of the stock at the price I wish. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to mark off some of these different levels here. And what's so great about this is now when the market opens and when these stocks start to trade, I'm prepared. All I have to do is glance at my chart and I can see where this stock is in relation to a different level. So without boring you and going through this whole list, let's go back to AUVI here. Now, because it's later on in the day, we're actually going to fast forward, if you will, and I'll show you exactly how I traded this today. So again, I'm an upside trader. I'm waiting for the stock to actually move to the upside, and I've identified some key levels here that I'm going to pay attention to. Now, I've been doing this for a number of years now. I know that the strategy has got to be a little bit more refined than simply just buying it at the open, because oftentimes you'll see exactly what we saw here. As soon as the market opened, this stock dipped a little bit, and perhaps these were long holders from yesterday or some day in the past when the stock was lower. A little bit of profit taking is not unexpected on a day where an individual stock gaps up. Now, what I am waiting for is to see where this stock stopped. Now, you can see here that this line that I've got here at 246, well, it wasn't exact to the penny. It was pretty close in terms of telling you where this turned around. And remember, we drew all of these lines without having this price data. We drew these lines from the data we had in the pre-market, and here is that 246 line. You can see in the pre-market, this stock was kind of leaking, kind of selling off here a little before bouncing and then moving back to the upside. That's what I mean about a key level. So once the market is open here, I'm trying to take advantage of this. As the trader, once I see that 246 has held here, and I can look at the volume and see that there's clearly still buying interest, what I'm interested in is where does the next level get taken out, and does that volume expand? The strategy that I'm trading here is day trading based off volume expansion. And so what you can see here is that it does look like 246 held. It did temporarily dip beneath that price, but that's okay. These lines are not set in stone. Stocks are often going to go, past these lines in either direction. The key is being patient and understanding, waiting for your spot to actually attack. Now, on the upside here, it actually crossed through 250. That is a really good sign. And then in short order, it actually crossed through 259. So at this point, now I'm interested in. Now I'm interested in entry. And in fact, if I take a look, this candle right here, this red candle right here after the open, had a high of 267. That to me is my spot. If 267 falls, particularly if it falls on high volume, that's my entry trigger, because this is a key level that's being taken out by buyers to the upside. I'm trying to capture a move that continues that momentum push, and that's exactly what we saw here. So as soon as 267 was taken out, this stock continues to push. I'm trying to get in as quickly as I can. This stock pushed all the way up to 304. My exit was actually around 285. So I got a good 16 cents right there in the matter of less than 2 minutes. That's pretty good. Again, the goal here is not necessarily to make a huge retirement style wealth trade here. We're trying to do short-term day trades. And the goal with short-term day trades is to try and stack those gains on top of each other. So at the end of the day, I'm looking at a pretty nice day. I'm able to do this simply by reviewing this list. And what's so great about this is I can repeat this process consistently every single day. And that's the key with trading. If you can get yourself to be consistent, you can increase your profitability over time. And that's going to make a world of difference in your success. Now, in this particular case, this stock kept going, but I'm okay with that. I don't necessarily need to buy the bottom, and I don't necessarily need to buy the top. All I need to do is be able to capture some type of movement in the direction that I'm aiming for, and I was able to do that here in this trade.